Welcome to the Retiring Canada podcast, where our mission is to educate and empower you to make the most informed, rational, and productive financial decisions. Hosted by certified financial planner, author, and chartered investment manager Michael Isbister. You'll go behind the scenes to uncover the tips and strategies to help you invest smarter, optimize your retirement income, and reduce the amount of tax you pay. Michael is an investment advisor with Fundamental Wealth, a trade name of Harbourfront Wealth Management, a CERO dealer. And now, here's your host, Michael Isbister.
Hello everyone, and welcome again to the Retiring Canada podcast. In today's episode, we're going to discuss how to build a retirement paycheck that lasts. Specifically, I'm going to chat about how your investment strategy changes as you retire, the difference between income and tax planning, the mechanics of a retirement paycheck, how to increase your spending flexibility, 4 pitfalls of a standalone investment strategy, the importance of a coordinated approach, and lastly, as always, a few action items for you to consider. Hello everyone, I hope you're enjoying your summer so far and that you've been able to get out and enjoy some of this sun. My family and I snuck away to Prince Albert National Park in Saskatchewan earlier this month for some much needed family time. Our 2 little boys are keeping us incredibly busy, and our little baby girl is already 6 months old, which is kind of crazy. But you know what? We have a few more lake trips planned and a family reunion later this summer down in southern Saskatchewan. So for those of you listening, if there are, other regional or provincial parks near you in Western Canada or even out east that you think, maybe my family should check out next summer, please, leave me a note or drop a comment. Our hope is to travel outside of Saskatchewan next year, and some input and maybe some little known spots that are really gems would be good to know. So hope you're able to share. All right, so in today's episode, let's discuss how to create a predictable retirement income that aligns with your overall tax plan. Step 1 of our fundamental retirement plan is all about optimizing the right asset allocation. And when done correctly, it will dictate how much money you can draw from your portfolio. It helps us determine how much tax you will pay. It will influence how we develop your drawdown strategy. It may also impact your healthcare strategy, and it will definitely impact your overall estate plan. And in plain English, the decisions you make with your investments will echo across all other aspects of your retirement plan. That is why, we design your portfolio and our retirees' portfolios not for accumulation. Now, during your accumulation years, things were straightforward. Save, invest, pay off debt, and repeat. But retirement is different. It requires ongoing coordination, proactive adjustment, and a trusted expert who specializes in working with retirees, who can see your entire picture and help you navigate whatever comes next. That includes creating a portfolio that balances healthy returns with predictable streams of income, tax efficiency, and protection against inflation. Your working years rewarded concentration and growth, but retirement demands balance and protection, and the ability to adapt to your changing needs and goals. In today's episode, I want to discuss the mechanics of portfolio construction, how to build a predictable income stream, and how to optimize your taxes year over year. Before I start, what I'm about to discuss doesn't necessarily apply to all pre-retirees and retirees. Also, you should always, seek professional advice from a team like ours before creating a portfolio that syncs with your income or tax plan, or, really do your research and be confident in a plan and maybe get a second opinion from another advisor. It's just really important to get these types of things right. In our practice, we find this strategy works best with households with, around $1 to $5 million in assets across non-registered accounts, TFSAs, RRSPs, RRIFs, LIRAs, corporate accounts, etc. The more complex the scenario and the more accounts a household has, the more important it is to get this right. Now, I've come across countless scenarios where prospective clients have the exact same investment across all of their accounts, when in reality, the goal of each specific account and their timelines are wildly different, resulting in missed opportunity for growth or at-risk accounts that should actually be more conservative in nature. Okay, so to start, let's talk about the difference between income and tax planning. Income is what you and your family need in your bank account every month to fit your lifestyle. This may also include periodic lump sums to fund travel or other major expenses. Tax planning is, tax planning. This is when you make specific decisions with specific investments or accounts year over year with tax optimization in mind. In other words, targeting specific tax brackets and areas of the tax code to mitigate your lifetime tax bill and to maximize your flexibility. Here is a really nice, easy way to think about income planning versus tax planning. Say your household needs $5,000 a month from your investments deposited to your bank account. If you draw this from a non-registered savings account, your taxable income at the end of the year will be close to zero. While if you receive the same $5,000 a month from a RRIF account as an example, you would need to draw roughly $7,000 a month to net $5,000 a month, resulting in an approximate tax bill of $24,000. Both provide the same monthly income, but have drastically different tax outcomes. In our practice, clients that fit into our predictable retirement income system will draw their monthly income from their non-registered investment accounts, while we complete our tax planning annually at the end of the year by drawing down taxable accounts, triggering gains, or drawing from corporate accounts. Our objective here is to gain better control over your annual taxation while still providing the monthly income you require. So now that you understand income versus tax planning, let's pivot to the portfolio, specifically the accounts we want to wind down tax efficiently. So, for example, say our goal is to reach $100,000 of taxable income for an individual. This individual has a non-registered account that generates some taxable income, has not started their CPP or OAS, and they have no other sources of income. Month over month, this person needs $5,000 a month in their bank account to maintain their lifestyle. Every month, we send this individual their retirement paycheck from their non-registered investment account. The taxation on this month-over-month income is low. At the end of the year, we facilitate a lump sum withdrawal from the RRSP or RRIF account to bring their taxable income up to $100,000. In their province, the net amount after tax is, say, $75,000. That will be transferred over to the non-registered account for the next year's income. This individual's monthly spend is $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year. So based on our tax analysis, we've now freed up an additional $15,000 in tax paid money that can be used to top up the TFSA the following year, be invested in the non-registered account, or spent elsewhere. With that framework now in mind, how do we create a predictable $100,000 a year in taxable income from the RRSP or RRIF account? So let's walk through an example. Say this individual has $800,000 in an RRSP or RRIF, $300,000 in non-registered accounts, and a maxed out tax-free savings account. We know that they want to spend $60,000 a year, and we want to draw down $100,000 a year from their RRSP or RRIF account before CPP and OAS start. Of the $800,000 RRSP, we set up a 3-year target date bond ladder with $100,000 each to create a predictable investment that generates interest income month after month and matures at its par value at the end of the year, regardless of interest rates. With the balance of the portfolio, we hold a traditional low-cost 100% equity solution to ensure the wheels are still turning on growth. When you zoom out, you have a balanced portfolio that has a predictable investment coming mature every year that aligns with our tax and income plan. During the year-end meeting, if equity markets are down, we could consider delaying the purchase of the next rung in the bond ladder until markets recover. If markets are strong, we simply buy the next rung in the bond ladder. Now, I must stress that this type of portfolio should not be constructed as a standalone strategy, and here's why. Number one, as the drawdown of the RRSP or RRIF portfolio continues, it will naturally get more and more conservative. Now, this may be suitable for some, but for others with more of a risk appetite, we need to ensure that the other investment accounts reflect this desire for growth and the acceptance of risk. If this were the case, a very simple example of this would be considering a larger equity position in the TFSA or non-registered accounts to offset the more conservative RRSP or RRIF as the drawdown stage goes along. Number two, the longer the bond ladder, the more conservative the portfolio will be, as there are more years to absorb equity market fluctuations. While if you shorten the ladder to say 2 years, you only give yourself a 2-year window for equity markets to recover before needing to sell your equity positions to fund the bond ladder. Third, bonds are fixed income investments, which are sensitive to interest rate changes. If interest rates go up, the bond market value goes down. If the interest rate goes down, the bond's market value goes up. All of this while receiving month-over-month interest payments known as coupons. If held to maturity, target date bonds mature at par, meaning that if rates had in fact increased and your bond value was below the original purchase price, it will mature at or near your original purchase price. Lastly, this type of portfolio construction is very forward-looking. If we know that in 3 years your CPP and OAS will start, we will need to modify the bond ladder for that date to reflect the decrease in amount now being withdrawn from the RRSP. Going back to my example, if we were drawing $100,000 a year from the RRSP and know that the CPP and OAS pensions will start in 3 years with a combined taxable income of $40,000, we will now actively be planning the bond ladder ahead of time and a tax plan 3 years in advance to account for this future reality. So in practice, now decreasing the bond that matures in 3 years from $100,000 to $60,000 to account for these new future sources of income. Now, as you've probably realized by now, this really isn't an episode about bond ladders or even portfolio construction. It's about coordination. When people think about retirement planning, they often picture investments, but investments are simply just the engine. It's how that engine connects to your income plan and your tax plan, your government benefits, your estate plan, and ultimately your lifestyle that determines whether you'll actually enjoy retirement. This is exactly why we built the fundamental retirement plan around 5 connected pillars instead of 5 independent conversations. So, your portfolio isn't built in isolation. It's built to support the income you'll need next year, the taxes you'll need to pay the next 30 years, the healthcare decisions that you may inevitably face, and eventually the legacy you want to leave behind. When all of those pieces are working together, something remarkable happens and retirement becomes simpler. You stop wondering where your next paycheck is coming from, you stop worrying whether you're paying too much tax, and you stop reacting to every headline or evening news. Instead, you have a coordinated plan that adapts as your life changes. That's the real goal, not beating the market, not finding the next hot investment, but building a retirement where your money quietly supports the life you actually want to live. Because after spending decades accumulating wealth, retirement is no longer about getting the highest return possible. It's about using the wealth you've built to create the freedom to enjoy the retirement you've spent your entire life working towards. If you're within 5 years of retirement, or you're already retired and wondering whether your investments truly align with your income, tax, and estate plan, now is the time to find out. Because the closer you get to retirement, and the further along you get into retirement, the more expensive small planning mistakes become. Okay, so that'll do it for today's episode. Here are your action items. First off, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend who is within 5 years of retirement and needs to get their house in order. Next, review your portfolio. Do you see the same investment in every single account? Does that strategy align with your income and tax planning goals? Are there predictable streams of income that can be used for when markets go down, not if they go down? Lastly, if you're interested in developing a coordinated approach, visit the Retiring Canada website today and let's start the conversation. All right, so that'll do it for today's episode. Be sure you're signed up for my weekly Retiring Canada newsletter. And hey, when it comes to your retirement, don't take chances. Make a plan so you can retire with confidence.
All comments are of a general nature and should not be relied upon as individual advice. The views and opinions expressed in this commentary may not necessarily reflect those of Harbourfront Wealth Management. While every attempt is made to ensure accuracy, facts and figures are not guaranteed. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing or tax advice. Please seek advice from your accountant regarding anything raised in the content of the podcast regarding your individual tax situation. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.